Well, me looking at the chart right now, because I've been staying abreast of the price. Of course, I have to because I'm a trader and whatnot. I actually can see it coming back below. Well, it's already back below 60,000 right now, but I see it coming. I see it possibly coming back below and down to 58 to test this level of strength again. So it's right now it's been hanging out for the most part. It's just been bouncing back and forth between 60 and 59. For the last few days. So we could see it do that for a little while longer.
So what do you think what do you
I
think?
definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So what do you think is driving the price this time? Because me, I feel like we stand within this range for a reason. I think this is, like I was calling, an accumulation zone, because if it's staying sideways like that, it gives you a chance to pick up some more. You know what I'm saying? So why do y'all think it's doing that? Like, what do you think? Go ahead. Somebody else was great to jump in. Go ahead and jump on that.
I mean, you need consolidation, right? That's all a part of building strength and things of that nature. So if we don't fully want to retrace back to, the 20-week moving average, which is in the 40Ks area, we need for Bitcoin to move sideways for a little bit, right? And then after that, it consolidates, it builds back up strength, and then we can continue to the upside. But just from a trading perspective, anytime something moves up parabolic, the retrace is equal back to downside. But we can sort of kind of negate that full retracement due to all of the institutional investors that are coming in.
Got you. So I guess who else was talking about this just now? Jakumi. So you're saying that you feel like there's some resistance that it needs to drop back down, or support from the way technical cats talk about it. You think the support's down at about 58? Is that what you're thinking? And then it's going to test that support and see if it breaks back down through it, or it might stay there and then bounce up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to go there and test that support just to make sure. And if we get a good test of strength right there and it bounces, then I want to see it hit above 62K. I'm a firm believer, like, as soon as we break above this psychological level of 65K, that it could run up to 70, 80K.
Yeah, man, and that's what a lot of people I've been hearing talking about it.
Or are you just looking at straight support and resistance levels?
No, I'm not looking at just support and resistance levels, but as far as to see like where strength is, the last imbalance is at around that level.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. If we breach 58K, we could definitely head back down to 52, between the 52 to 54 area. I wouldn't count on that area being there for too long, though.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, as you guys are hearing, these are technical guys. These guys are watching the charts. That's Jakumi and Mr. Ryan. They look at the charts. They think about it from the standpoint of basically price action, right? That's what you're watching. Can y'all tell the audience what you guys are really looking at when you're talking about the price from a support and resistance? Don't get too deep, but just kind of explain overall, like, what you're doing when you're doing that.
Yeah, what I'm looking at a lot of times is like so when we talk about price, we look at it in terms of where it's been. So you use candles to measure this, right? And there's a tool that I like to use, and it's called the Fibonacci tool. And not to get too deep into it, but Fibonacci is a whole thing, right? But it gives you a great idea of where certain levels where the human element comes into play, but also because most of the trading is not done by humans, most of the trading is done by robots, right? And so those robots had to be programmed with something, right? So they have to have a level where they like to buy and a level where they like to sell. And a lot of times, you can use this tool to give you a great idea, an indication of where, the larger buyers and sellers live. So that's just what it is. And so I use that tool with great effectiveness, by the way. You know, to get in, to buy, and also to sell. Now, I'm not selling my Bitcoin because, you know, of course, I don't own any, but
Right.
I have a good idea. I have a good idea of where I would like to get in at levels that I think that it could go to. And just as I'm speaking right now, we're pushing down towards you know, to below. We're already below 60,000, but we're pushing below 59.7 right now.
Yeah, this Cashta on Facebook says large BTC holders are getting more Bitcoin by buying alts and taking FOMO money. So basically, kind of manipulating the alt market. Do you all think that's really what's happening right now? You think some of the reason why we have a little bit of downward pressure, not a lot, but they're taking a little bit of their bag and going in and pushing up the price of some of these alts?
Yeah, I think you're right, Lamar, because when you look at one of the other important factors I like to look at, especially when it comes to these alts, is like BTC dominance. And when you start to see BTC dominance waver a bit, that's when you can see the alt market kind of run up a bit. So I like to pay attention to that to see like where the money's moving at.
Yeah, historically, if BTC trades sideways, then people are starting to take some profit, put it into alts, right? There's this whole quote unquote alt season. So we'll just continue to have to see. But I mean, if Bitcoin definitely starts to drop significantly, you'll see many of the alts retrace as well.
Yeah, before I really understood what this whole new financial system was, I had like 15 coins I had invested in pretty much equally. And some of those went up. Actually, all of them went up, but some of them, you know, did way better. And some of them were like 20, 30x. And so, you know, I don't trust alts, especially when you see how, you know, some of them have gone, you know, thousands of percents up and then it comes down, you know, drastically over the next couple of days. So I know me, myself, some of those original investments I'm doing now, I am then putting some of those profits into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the basis of the financial system. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm pretty sure other people are doing it on a whole bigger scale.
I think one of the things is that we can't fall in love with looking at the green numbers on the side of these coins, because a lot of times there's not even enough liquidity for you to actually realize the gains that you think you're going to get. And people don't even understand that. And what I mean by liquidity, I'll break it down for everyone. So let's say you get into one of these crazy altcoins and your mind is like, man, I needed to get up to $2, right? And it's at a penny right now. And if it gets up to $2, I'm going to sell. Well, if it doesn't have a lot of volume in it right now, then somebody could easily come in and buy a lot of them and push that price, start pushing that price up. And normally what happens is because everybody's watching to see which ones are going up, people try to ride the price up. So if a manipulator comes in and puts $5,000 into a market that didn't have much liquidity, you'll mess around and see the price pump, 30, 40%. And then what happens, because that's almost like a marketing signal to people who like to gamble, let's be all the way real, then they'll jump in and start pushing the price up even higher and push the price up even higher and push the price up even higher. But there's usually a point at which that person who was manipulating it from 1 cent, there's usually a point when they're just going to sell out and dump their bags on everybody else's head. And what happens is at that point, everybody gonna start selling, but you're not gonna have enough people to buy. And so when you looking at it, you're like, man, it's worth $1 or it's worth $1.50, was going to $2, and now it's just sliding all the way back down because there's nobody on the other side to keep the price up to buy it. So you got to be very, very careful. Is that not correct? The guys that are trading.
Yes, that is correct.
Indeed.
If there's any imbalance too, right, people can look at order books. They'll be able to see the shift in direction of those coins. They'll also be able to see liquidity. And once that dries up, like, it's very difficult for people to get out of those positions. Like, it can definitely fall almost instantly, right? Like once that happens.
Right. Because liquidity is what keeps the market going. Like, you need market makers in whatever currency or whatever asset, let's just say asset period, that you are trying to purchase, because those people having those market makers there will keep the market moving. But if you don't have any market makers in one of these currencies and somebody's just taking their small, think about it, some of these people take a small portion of their Bitcoin and bet on these small on these small ones, because they know that most of these people are out here just trying to get a quick buck. And that's why we try to warn people from it. That's why we try to tell people, like, look, be careful, because there are people out here with way bigger bags than you that are just going to make you look. Because to be honest, a lot of us are walking around looking at these charts like squirrel. And as soon as you see green, oh, that's the new one. That's the new one. I need to put some money in there. And they are manipulating that because it's easy to manipulate, because there's not a lot of volume and liquidity in that asset. And then they get you, dump on your head. They actually get to keep their gains. And now you're sitting here waiting, hoping for years for it to come back.
It's kind of like,
oh, go ahead, Credo.
no, I was about to say, it's kind of like the big bag person comes in with 50,000 and you're coming in with 500 expecting to make gains. And as soon as they move and manipulate the market, they kind of like suck up your $500.
I was just gonna say, man, one of the worst things you could do when you get into the investing game, period, or even the trading game specifically, is to trade based on the price of a project. Right? You get into a project because it's under a penny. Oh yeah, man, this one could pop. That's the worst way to get in, right? FOMO is not a strategy, right? So I don't encourage people to get in based on price. You know, if you're looking at projects to trade and things to get into, you got to do more research than just, what price is it? You got to look and see what kind of fundamentals that it does it have, who's behind it, who's backing it, all types of things. And, FOMO, again, is just not a strategy. So be wary of any project that's at a low cost, because there's probably a reason that is at a low cost.
Right.
And that's also important too, man. One of the things that when I started trading, I learned very quick that you have to have a certain stomach for it too. You have to have a certain skill set. You got to make sure you're following up on those charts, man. And one of the things that I did, I wasn't only investing in coins, I was investing in equipment and monitors and computers, right? And I can honestly say that I made more money when I stopped trading and I got an investment back by selling my monitors and selling my computers. I made more money than I did on those altcoins.
That right there is funny, man. Everybody, welcome Corey Marshall, man, comedian. Corey Marshall, he's been around the club for a while. I brought him up. Shout out to Corey for bringing it in. But that is funny. He said he made more money selling the monitors and the computers.
That is funny.
But I mean, that's a fact though. Like only 97% of people fail when it comes to trading. That's crazy, right? 97% of people fail when it comes to trading, right? Only about 2 to 3% are actually successful. So people that trade the least actually wind up doing better. And it doesn't matter how well versed people are from technical analysis perspective. And this is coming from a person that trades and teaches people how to trade. Your trader analysis, what you know about yourself, is way more important. If I'm an impulsive person, unorganized, all this stuff like that, I can't be trying to scout or do some of these other things. Only thing that I'm doing at those points is just scalping my profit away. So especially in this space, like it's better to just, hold, keep moving.
Cash just said trading is about being ahead of the game, not chasing pumps. And I that's real. It's like you got to know where the puck's headed if you're going to try to be in that game. Because if you don't, you are going to get demolished. Like that's real talk. I know there's some people on this stage that can even talk to that, right? Like being demolished by chasing it. But what I always say is that that demolition is really just your tuition. Like you getting beat and you losing a lot of money winds up being the cost that you pay to learn. And failure is part of it. But I'm telling you, just be very careful if you're trying to trade. I'm not telling anybody what they should do. These gentlemen on stage, they are successful traders. They've been able to put themselves in a different position because of that. But most people I've talked to are not these gentlemen on stage. It's like the NBA, right? Only a few people can play basketball for millions of dollars. So don't get out on the Don't get out on the court, start pulling your Achilles and getting the ACL tear because you think you Jordan. You know what I'm saying? That's really all it boils down to.
I think that bull market, it deceives people because everybody looks like they're such a great trader during the bull market. But as soon as that changes, and people start losing their shirts, that's when they learn. So 'cause I see, like, I'm getting that 2017 vibe now when I see all these people, going back and forth on these alts on Facebook and saying, these people with Bitcoin don't know what they're talking about. We need to go with these alts. But, so I've been there and done that. And yes, I thought I was like, the king when it was a bull market. But things change quickly.
Yeah, and from a tax perspective, trading can be absolutely horrendous, especially, like, say if you take a loss, you're only allowed to take a $3,000 loss on these things. So if you are taking, $20, $30, $50,000 losses, I mean, that can hurt not just from a financial, like from losing that original money, but then from a tax perspective, don't think that's going to, help you, but so much. And then also the complications of that tax may be really bad. There's been people who have gained only a couple $1,000s, but because they didn't know how the taxes were, the IRS got all in their business, and the IRS sends them a notice saying they owe 30, 40,000 and they only profited 3,000. And yet, you can hire a CPA and get that lower, but that's a whole nother level of complication that you may not want to go through. So trading isn't really, it's not tax friendly at all.
Think about what you just said too, CJ. It's like they're going to limit you on the downside, but if it goes to the roof, you're going to pay taxes on all that upside.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense, but yet it doesn't make sense. It's like, they're going to get their cut if you make money, but if you lose money, they're not really going to give you too much of a benefit, only a $3,000 loss.
You'll come out better using that money to change your identity.
I have no words for that one.
There's another news story. It talks more about, Biden, basically seeing the digital yuan as a threat, and also about Janet Yellen seems she won't drop that, that impression that, cryptocurrencies are fueling illicit activities, and that kind of bothers me. She seems to be, she's not a friend of the space.
Yeah, she's really old school, but you have people in the SEC that are on it, right? And I mean, what's the greatest currency that is for illicit activity?
U.S. dollar.
Yeah, so that's a non-starter. It's like an illogical argument that is being stated. But it's some good people in the SEC that are like, nah.
But T-Mac, before we go on to that, I still want to stay on that other topic we were on just real quick, because there was something that was said on Facebook that makes a whole lot of sense too, and I want to make sure we hit that for all the people out here who are thinking they want to go get this money. The thing is that what Ryan said, that high fail rate is the money for people like Ryan and Jakumi. You understand what I'm saying? Those people that are failing, dumping all of that extra money and liquidity into the market, the guys that know how to trade, they're taking your money from you. It's a zero-sum game. Let's be all the way real. Like, they laughing. You hear them laughing. Look, you literally hear them laughing. The good thing about these guys is they good guys. They trying to protect you. But the truth is that all of you guys out here that want to hop in and be traders, like my man Casher just said, he said that high fail rate is the money. That's the money that these guys are making because you don't know what you're doing. So they're literally taking the money out of your pocket and putting it in their own. That's how the game works. And am I right about that, fellas?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely right, man.
Okay.
On the opposite side of every win, somebody is losing, and on the opposite side of everybody losing, there's somebody that's winning.
And
that's it.
And think about it. Let's just do the math real quick. So if 95 to 97% of the people lose, the reason why you see these traders that are successful make so much money because only 3% of them are taking 97% of your wealth. So that's why it looks like when they know what they're doing, they know what they're doing because they just took all of your money out of your hands. That's what you got to think about.
Yeah, that's why they're wearing suits in their profile pictures. You know,
yeah, that's what.
Ryan's.
That's why
they probably, you know, they probably got my money from 2018.
People on Facebook can't see it.
I like to think of me as you know, taking that money from the bank, man. You know what I'm saying?
You know, you ain't taking it from no bank, man.
I'm a legal bank robber, is what I am.
So look, here's what's so funny. So people on Facebook can't see the profile pictures of the two gentlemen we talking about. And when I scroll through this, I think they're the only ones. Them and the lawyer are the only ones that have suits on.
The suits, man.
The suits on in their picture. And my man T-Mac said they probably got some of his money from 2018. That's where they got those suits from.
Or they can just wear
a suit on too. So don't discount him.
Or they can just wear a black tee. Or they can just wear a black tee with a beanie.
Nah, Fred don't count, bro. Fred ain't got a tie.
Yeah, Fred ain't got no tie.
That was
Fred
a nice
is the business casual guy. He's the business casual.
Try, man.
Yeah, you see the dude wear a suit with no tie, you gotta watch out for him. He can fight.
That just means Fred will probably choke you out or something.
Right. But yeah, let's get back to it. But yeah, y'all was talking about Janet Yellen, man. So T-Mac, you was talking about Janet Yellen, and somebody brought up in the comments that Janet is the lead on Digital Dollar Project. She is at odds with how to go forward with Bitcoin. I think what they're starting to realize, and I saw an article about this earlier, they're starting to realize that the only way you can stop Bitcoin is to turn the internet off, and they know that's ridiculous. So they trying to figure out, like, this is what's going on right now is the adjustment part. They trying to adjust to this new paradigm, the same way the record labels adjusted to streaming and people pirating. Like right now, this is an adjustment right now. They're in adjustment, trying to figure out how they can actually work with it. So what do you guys think? Yeah, go back to what T-Mac was talking about with Janet Yellen. What do you guys think the government is thinking right now? Like, if they know they can't stop it, what do you think they think their best move is, their next chess move is?
Printing money, which they think that's the answer, but it's definitely not. But that's like one of their scapegoat routes, just to print money. Hey, you know, paper money is still real. You still can spend it because that pumps up their economy, our economy, the dollar, right? And for the smart people that take advantage of that, they just take that fiat and put it straight into Bitcoin. But not everybody is thinking like that. I think that's one of the quicker things that they've jumped to, is just to stimulate the economy. And that's why we're seeing all this money. Not saying that that's the answer, but that's what I think that they're saying. We'll just give them this money and they'll forget about Bitcoin. We'll put all this propaganda out here so they won't spend it on Bitcoin, and they'll leave more for them.
Man, that's
another thing that.
Yeah, go ahead, T-Mac.
Another thing that got me is there that, you know, there was like crazy talk about, you know, taxing unrealized gains, you know, and you know, cryptocurrency and you know, things like that. It's crazy. And I don't know if people. There was a story like a few years ago that Dianne Feinstein, she was trying to you know, write this bill that said that if you didn't disclose the amount of cryptocurrency you had when you left the country, that, you know, the government would have the right to come in and seize all your assets.
But
it was just crazy.
But here's the thing: what cryptocurrency? Like, I don't own no Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was saying, you know, it's crazy. You know, just the talk about it. You know, like unrealized gains. You know, who? I mean, that would just totally just. I don't know. That would just destroy things. It wouldn't just be the market. It'd just be the.
I lost mine. I lost mine in a boating accident.
Hey, Tino, you can't say that. We know ain't too many black people out on no boats, man. You know,
hey, I was on a boat. I lost mine on a
boat. A pontoon boat.
Mountain biking.
Yeah, gambling boats. In a gambling boat, maybe.
There you go. You lost it on the gambling boat. All of it, huh? I got you.
The cruise ship. There you go. Cruise.
My uncle conned me out of it. I didn't know what it was.
I lost it on the crap game.
That's so stereotypical. Let's stop before we go too far, man. Next thing somebody can say, I spent all of that on chicken. Come on, bro. We can't do that, man.
Crab legs, bro.
Crab legs is, listen, that's become the what do you call it?
new
mascot.
chicken.
Yeah,
If crab leg was a stock right now, it would
It's
be
the new chicken.
That's the mascot
Hey, look.
for Black Bitcoin billionaires because of the young lady that said she spent her money on crab legs. So I use it all the time. But
She said $150 a week.
No, she said $50. She said $50 a week.
Oh,
but still.
Hey, look. Speaking of stock, somebody said if crab leg was a stock, and I just want to have an open conversation with my experts here. Do you think that this listing of that one company going on the NASDAQ is going to make an impact, positive or negative, in the space?
Absolutely.
You talking about Coinbase?
I think I ain't want to say that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't getting no endorsements from me, but you know,
it's definitely going.
Can we have a little? Yeah, can we have a little dialogue on that? My 2 cents is I think it would be more manipulation, because I think that if I was a company like Coinbase and I had a close knit relationship with the government, right, I would manipulate something to have it to where we come up with some guideline. If these companies want to come in, they have to come in through Coinbase. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing: they'll be able to manipulate the stock side and the crypto side.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's pretty much inevitable. You know, like right now, they're the highest paid crypto exchange in the world. So, you know, it's once they go mainstream, you know, here comes the stock world as well now too. So.
But I don't know, man. I don't know, because number one, Binance is from a volume perspective seems to be doing a lot more than Coinbase. Number two, this is what I want to explain to everyone. This Coinbase offering is a direct listing. It's not an IPO. So they're not raising new funds. So what they're doing is those early investors and those executives and people that already have money, already have stock, that have vested stock, they are dumping those onto the market. Now, think about, this is the thing I want people to think about. So if currently right now, if Elon Musk, you found out that Elon Musk was selling 15% of his stock right now, what would you do with Tesla stock? Nobody gonna answer. What would you do with Tesla?
Yeah, if he was selling, then that will push the people that follow him to sell too.
Yeah, because a lot of people.
I'd be dumping it.
Yeah, if he was coming through, just dumping his stock on the market, him or let's say Bezos, you find out Bezos is dropping, 20% of his shares on the market. What is that gonna do? Because what does that tell the market? What sentiment does that give the market? What do y'all think that gives the market from a
lack of confidence?
Sends a signal that something isn't right, so you need to dump as well.
So, yeah, basically saying he knows something is going to happen, so he's getting out or taking some profit before it does. So that's what the followers would do.
So imagine what's going on right now with Coinbase when you got some of their top investors, right? Just the people that are already owning the stock are going to be the ones selling those shares into the market. Like if that happened in a stock that was already listed, nobody would be excited about that. But everybody is excited about this Coinbase direct listing.
The reason I think this is only my 2 Satoshis. I think like going along with what you just said, if they make it some type of incentive, because you already know this is the blue collar shirt boys, the teammates, whatever. If they make some deal with these other companies, like, hey, if you're gonna onboard, we can get you onboarded the fastest and safest in Coinbase, and we're FDI approved, insured, whatever the case may be. And the government is kind of like on the outside influencing them to say, you know what, if you're gonna put Bitcoin on your balance sheet, Coinbase is a proper channel to go through. And then Coinbase is gonna flip out and say, well, do you have $1 million worth of stock? Now that you have $1 million worth of stock, now we can go to the Bitcoin side, and that's when the point comes out where you're saying these long-term investors are just going to be selling off their holdings.
So it's almost like a pump and dump. It's like let's put out quarterly reports that look amazing, 1.8 billion in revenue, 730 million net income. It looks amazing to the street, and we put these numbers out there and get everybody excited, and then we dump our shares on their head. Like we liquidate our shares on their head.
Yeah, on the inside, yes, but worldwide, Coinbase doesn't have enough of liquidation or buying power to manipulate the price dramatically on Bitcoin. Like I don't think they have enough influence to drop the price back down below 35,000.
Yeah,
but see what I'm saying?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. My question is, if I am the investors, yeah, you know, people want to liquidate some, right? I get it. But if I am an investor, if I believe in the company that I invested in, and I think that it for the long term, we're going to keep hitting $1.8 billion quarters and $730 million net incomes for the foreseeable future, then would I not just hold on to them? I'm just asking the question. I'm just, you know, just
Well, you
thinking
think you think if us, like, let's say if the mods were the early Coinbase guys or whatever, and we all had 100,000 Bitcoin, and if our exchange doesn't have any more Bitcoin to support these big institutions that are coming in, then some of us are going to have to liquidate our holdings. That's the reason why I think that you're going to have these early investors selling off, like kind of like doing under the table sales.
But that's what I'm saying. But you think they're going to, because my thing is, Quavo, is that when they go public, all of that stuff's going to have to come out on the table. You can't go under the table when you're public. So my thing is, are you thinking they're going to sell their stock, get the cash, and then go buy Bitcoin for the company? Because they're not.
So look,
I can see if they were selling. I can see if they were selling new issued shares like an IPO and raising money. You see what I'm saying? It's they raising.
Yeah.
That means they will be raising money. So if they raise money, they can take the money they raised and go out and get Bitcoin. But if you're selling off your individual shares, why would they then turn back around and recapitalize the company with the Bitcoin? You get what I'm saying?
They getting that Bitcoin for themselves.
Yeah, I was about to say my thought process is if they own the majority of the company's holdings, right? They all sell back a percentage. We all sell 20% of our holdings, and then we're gonna put a premium or arbitrage, whatever we're gonna do, to these companies that are gonna be forced to come and buy Bitcoin through us because they can't go buy, millions worth of dollars with Binance because it's not a U.S. supported company. So the government is going to be like, well, if you're a company and you're spending all these millions of dollars, you're going to have to come through an institution that we've approved, that we know is going to pay proper taxes, yada, 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 XYZ. That's the way I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I guess my biggest thing is just, here's the question to the whole panel. Do you trust Coinbase for the long run?
No. We don't trust Coinbase, but we're saying Coinbase is gonna bully these companies to come in and buy it through them and try to manipulate the market as far as the stock and the price of Bitcoin. Like they can come in and just straight arbitrage Bitcoin and mark it up 10 to 15%.
Oh yeah, because they own. You saying because they own the exchange, so they can make it look like Bitcoin's really going and already basically front run. But the problem is Quavo. Like if they were going to do that, they would. Matter of fact, we saw that they did some of that pump and dump type stuff because they got in trouble with the CFTC. We saw that they had to pay a fine. Remember? So my thing is that you think they'll be willing to risk the fact that they are. The fact that they are actually public now, because when they're public like that, they're going to be far more auditable. We're going to see all their books, see their flows, all of that stuff. You think they'll be willing to risk trying to game the system once they go public? And maybe, okay, this is all speculation. That's why I'm asking the question. And I want to hear Quavo. You've been talking a whole lot about it. Let me get some other opinions about it because I just want to hear what everybody has to say because this is something I don't know if we're talking about. But my thing is that do you all think that their inability now to actually manipulate all of that stuff is the reason why some of these investors are now like getting out because they know the game is up and I might as well get what I can while we making the money that we can make?
I think it's more that the individual investors want to buy their own Bitcoin because I think long-term Coinbase, by going through an IPO, they're going to wind up being in a lot of these 401ks and these IRAs. So I think long-term, people who don't really understand what Bitcoin is, they'll probably invest into it off the hype. But the ones who already have made their money through the stock, the second they can cash out their stock, they're going to sell that and then go buy the actual asset in Bitcoin itself. Versus the people who are buying the stock, they're just going to have, some type of exposure to Bitcoin. I think that's why they're probably going to sell, and you're probably going to see a huge drop at first, but long term it might be okay.
Man, this is interesting times. That's an interesting theory. It's like they know that Bitcoin's worth more than Coinbase stock, so they're trying to sell their Coinbase stock to everybody. It's exactly what Jacumi was talking about earlier. Like, you guys don't know it, but they just dumping their bags on your head so they can go get Bitcoin too. It's no different than them old school ICOs. What, like, what do y'all think, man? Look, everybody's being quiet because everybody's probably gonna go. Are y'all going out and buying Coinbase on Wednesday? Ain't that when it comes out on Wednesday?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, that's exactly.
No,
if you
sir.
think about Elon, what he did is he bought into, I forgot what the first company called, ZipPay or something he bought into, and then he bought into PayPal, and then he took those funds and he shifted those funds over to Tesla eventually. And it's the same game. It's wherever the money flows. It's not just stay into a company. I mean, theoretically, Coinbase could look at themselves and say, hey, we think we could be the biggest player out there. And for that reason, we stay committed to our own. But I think the other side of that is having that backup plan to put those monies into the actual Bitcoin. And that's the conversation, we've been having with a lot of people is, hey, this is why you want to just grab it and hold it. Because most people can't trade it well. I mean, I got, my story, Lamar, until I talked to you. I had got killed on altcoins. And then when I switched my philosophy and just went to Bitcoin, I still have a couple altcoins, but that's because I just had them so long. The world, I more than doubled my money. So it was a big change. So.
Yeah. Listen, so Quavo, back to you, man, because I was just wanting to give everybody else a shot. So Quavo, what do you think about the Coinbase direct listing period? Like, let's not talk about their internal business. Is that something you're looking to get into, or because I heard you say no? I heard you say no for the long run.
No. I was about to say definitely not for the long run. I just think it's the government's way of kind of like getting into crypto and kind of trying to come in and be a part of it without saying they're actually a part of it. They're kind of using Coinbase to as a green light to do that. Coinbase is going to be like the guinea pig, because you got to think, like, the government was never even thinking about crypto. They were just frowning upon it, and now they're just trying to see how they can capitalize off of it. So this is like one of the greatest opportunities they're going to have. But as far as like the future of it, I don't think it's going to, make the price go down or be a bad thing. I just think it's going to be a lot more institutions using this as an onboarding process. And, if we have a lot more institutions coming in, just like Greg said, people are just going to follow the money. And we know, right, as retail investors, that the money out here, the physical money, is not making us any money. You can have $100, you can have it in your hand, you can have it in the bank, and it's not going to make you pennies. So the central location that we're all, agreeing on is Bitcoin. And I agree with that. So anything you're doing out here, left, right, altcoin, stock market, should be a faster gateway to accumulate more Bitcoin. I wouldn't say, I don't say anything is, a long-term asset builder that's better than Bitcoin. So if you're into the stocks or the altcoins, they all should be used as to accumulate more Bitcoin, because none of them are going to do what Bitcoin is going to do for me. That's just my opinion.
Man,
I think it's just a cash grab, man. It's not like they the first company in the stock on the stock exchange to have exposure to Bitcoin. I mean, you look at MicroStrategies, right? And we know they have exposure to Bitcoin. And what did they do last year? Their stock is up 300%. So, I don't see them as the guinea pig, because you already got companies in there with exposure. So for them, it's really just, a cash grab. I don't know what they're going to put their cash into. My guess is they're going to buy more Bitcoin. But who knows, man? Like, these companies know they need exposure to it. So, they're just getting in. Coinbase is just going to rally more people into the space, I believe, and give them some exposure if they're not, or if they have no desire to actually buy the physical asset, their loss.
Man.
Yeah, so Jacumi.
Well, and I'm sorry, it's okay. And also, you did speak to the fact that, once the government gets behind this entity, it draws more attention to Coinbase. And as you said earlier, the application with the IRS, it's just kind of bringing everybody's attention that wants to get into crypto, into Coinbase, because Coinbase, again, is going to abide by those procedures and policies to report whoever's trading their crypto. So they're just trying to get everybody that's doing something with crypto in one common group. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be able to report them. So that's what I kind of think it is. They're just turn on the light to attract the bugs.
Coinbase had billions of people sign up within the last 5 years. It's ridiculous. Like everybody in their
Not
mama
billions,
just made
not billions. 56 million.
I mean,
56 million.
my bad. But yeah, millions. They had millions of people sign up, users, and not that that's like a better onboarding process because Cash App has had people that buy Bitcoin. But it just I'm not gonna say it solidifies it either, but it just gives these bigger institutions a better gateway because they're not going through the grayscale, they're not going through MicroStrategy.
I agree, Crypto. I totally agree. I think that Coinbase is looking to the institutional investors. If they pick up, small investors along the way, well and good. But I think their focus now is going to go after the large institutions and corporations to get them to buy their stock and get into the Bitcoin game.
Yeah, this is a really good conversation. I didn't know we was gonna go down the Coinbase road, but let me ask you guys this. Do you think that have you ever seen MicroStrategy stock? It is extremely correlated, which for everybody who understand what I'm saying by that, it kind of travels in the same direction that Bitcoin stock does because they hold so much Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Do you all think once Coinbase goes public that there will be a correlation between Bitcoin and Coinbase, or what if Coinbase? Can you all see a world where Coinbase is the thing that kind of drives Bitcoin's price? Because for the retail investor, they're like, if Coinbase is going down, then Bitcoin's probably going down. Do y'all see that kind of correlation coming in the future?
I don't think completely, because Coinbase is based in the U.S. and Bitcoin is global, is everywhere, right? So it's not going to be completely correlated. But here, as far as the U.S. is concerned, there may be investors that look at it as such.
I agree with Jakumi. I don't think it will at all. I think it'll be totally separate.
I agree with Jakumi, but a lot of people don't realize that, though. A lot of people don't realize how decentralized Bitcoin is, and they don't really understand how it works.
Because if Coinbase takes an incredible hit in their stock price, how CNBC is gonna report it. Cryptocurrency exchange is down, 60% as of da 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 da. You see what I'm saying? You already know what time it is, man.
Yeah, but look, that's been happening anyway. Like they're gonna try to control the market, with the media as far as like, with the retailers, but as far as like anything else, they're not gonna be able to control the entire market. And I stand corrected earlier. Earlier, I was talking about the billions of dollars that Coinbase is trading every day, but they do have 56 million users, and that's not enough to control, the market or anything like that. But they're going to have a lot of play in the stock market, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they might really become a front runner in the stock market, but in the crypto world, Bitcoin is king, and I don't think they own enough Bitcoin to really make that control. Because you're also fighting off against, Binance, as we saw earlier, like Binance a year ago was at like $20. Now it's over like $5.50. And like Jakumi has said earlier, like MicroStrategies, they may have doubled, maybe tripled. It might be correlated. But let's look at where Bitcoin was a year ago compared to now. So, unless you own the actual asset, there's no real reason to just have exposure to it. But most people don't know that. Most people are lazy. Most people want those institutions to hold their assets for them because they don't want to get a cold wallet or do the work themselves.
Yes, and that's the thing, right? So, Coinbase,
man.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just 2 seconds. Crypto Crave, I got a question for you, man. Before we start talking about this, you said, speaking of crab legs, let's talk about Coinbase. What that guy do?
No, somebody had made that. Somebody had made that comment. No. Somebody made the comment and said crab legs are like Scott. I think it was Trentino.
Nah, he's a comedian, man.
I thought you about to bring us some recipes, man.
Nah, somebody. Okay. Hey, I got some recipes too for you though. If you want to talk about that too, though.
Let's do it after.
Oh man,
I got that sauce for you.
He do got that sauce, man. So look, so somebody said, let's see. I'm looking at the comments over on Facebook. Somebody said Coinbase don't hold enough Bitcoin, less than 5,000 coins. Ain't that kind of interesting to y'all, man?
Like, man, I don't believe that.
No, they do. No, listen to what I'm saying. Like, they have to, Quavo, we got to remember, when you go public, you got to report this stuff. If they, as a company, if they as a company have more than that, then they lying. And they, come on, man, once you go public, man, you running yourself into a bunch of situations.
So I believe they, as a company on the balance sheet or whatever, they may have 5,000 Bitcoin, but they staff, not they staff, but the long-term investors, the CEO, the mods, whatever we would call them, guys, they got tons of freaking Bitcoin, man.
But that's different though, right? Like, that's way different. Like them disclosing how much they have as a company, that's what people are looking at when it comes to this direct listing. Like, if I'm going to buy into Coinbase, what type of conviction do they have in the asset that they've been pushing for so many years? And the fact that
but they don't own the asset though. They don't own the asset, but I feel you.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you've been in the game this long, and there's a company called MicroStrategy that just started accumulating, and they already have what, almost 20 times as much Bitcoin.
Yeah, almost up to 100,000.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So it makes people kind of like, MicroStrategy isn't even a company that says Bitcoin is the thing to do, but here's the company that's been around for a very long time and could have accumulated tons of Bitcoin for the company itself. They only have 4,600 Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? It just seems kind of odd to some people, and I think that's why the gentleman Jonathan, actually it wasn't from Facebook, it was from YouTube, actually put that comment up.
That makes sense with all the fractional banking they be doing.
That the reason why they
that's speculation.
Lamar.
The crashes that happen. I'm sorry.
I was saying the only reason they only have 5,000 coins is because when they got ready to trade, their system shut down.
Hey, man. hey, Corey.
Clarification, man.
Not only that, I just got a message from Coinbase saying that they lost the rest of it in a boating accident.
Oh, they lost the rest of it in a boating accident?
They have a boating accident every time the market surge.
Man, that's crazy. So, okay, somebody's over here on Coinbase. I mean, on Facebook. It says, when Coinbase goes public, would there be an effect on the privacy of individuals holding cryptocurrency on that exchange? Interesting question.
I don't think there's any privacy already.
Yeah, there's no privacy now because they already report.
Exactly.
If you already KYC'd on Coinbase, then you shouldn't expect the information to be private.
Exactly. You have zero privacy on Coinbase if you KYC. Period.
Yep, they been snitching.
Somebody said they been snitching, boy.
Yeah, since 2018, they started snitching. Actually,
they are the feds, if you ask me. Like, they are the front runners in letting people know exactly who has what. So it's not even that they're snitching; they're like the ones pointing it out. Hey, look, they love that game.
Yes, the crypto feds. Feds.
I was about to say, to wrap it on back around. That's why it's very important for you to own your own crypto. And have your own cold storage wallet and store your coins off of the hot wallet, like platforms like that.
Yeah, people are asking. Hold on.
Even so, it's still KYCing. So it's even if you do own your own, you're still going in through someone.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. So somebody on Facebook is asking, what is KYC? So we need to go ahead and say that. It's know your customer. So there's a policy that says that all of these exchanges must know who they are selling this Bitcoin to. And once you do that, you're giving over like your social security number, your EIN if you're a business, you're giving over your address and those kind of things. And so KYC basically is putting you into a realm where they're going to know exactly what you're doing. And then when you send those coins out or you trade or anything like that, they're reporting that to the IRS. So yeah, and Dr. Shiller said, well, everywhere is KYCing Go ahead, say it again, Dr. Schaller, what you were saying. I just wanted to answer them so people would know.
I just said we're all going through a KYC process. For example, on Cash App, you're taking the picture of the ID up in the sun because they don't recognize brown faces. So on a lot of these platforms, they're making us KYC.
But
Dr. Schaller,
yeah, go ahead.
I lost mine because someone stole it out of my luggage on my last trip. So I don't have it. Yes, I moved it to my cold storage, but somebody stole it.
Yes, see, that's what I'm saying. Like people stealing luggage, you dropping it out on the side of the curb, like stuff like that. Like, they can't.
Yeah. Let's tap on that right quick because we keep making jokes about losing our Bitcoin in the water on a boat and stuff. So that is possible, right? Or no? Can you explain that?
So when people are saying that means they're losing their secret keys. And that means that it is possible. It definitely is possible to lose access to your coins. And as a matter of fact, there are a lot of coins that people say have already been burned because if you lose access to that private key, especially if you have a singular key wallet, then you're not going to be able to move those coins ever again. And so you lose them. You lose access to them, lose the ability to actually move them. But yeah, that's what everybody's talking about in that regard.
Yeah, and I would like to add in that it's also estimated that over 4 million of coins have been lost that way.
Yes,
right.
Coins get lost every day because people lose access to their phone, and I don't think people understand. And I explain this to people all the time. Like, if your phone falls and breaks and you break the screen, or if you lose it in the water, or whatever the case may be, if your phone gets stolen, sometimes people don't have access back into their email, or they don't get that same number that they had that 2FA link with, so they have a lot of trouble accessing their old account. If they get locked out of their Cash App, someone's trying to phish their phone or whatever the case may be. So that's why it's important that you guys always write down these passwords and have access to your emails and your phone number and things like that, because you can get locked out of your account like that, or at least have a hard time getting back into your account.
Well, look, here's one of the things though, you guys think about this. So if you KYC in and you send it to a wallet and then you lose it, then the government comes to you and says, hey, we see you sent this many Bitcoin to this wallet. Where is this wallet? We need it. And you say you lost it. Do you all not think that they're going to put a tag on that and say, watch this wallet? And then if you ever try to get out anywhere else in the world, they're going to know that you moved it. Like, what do you guys think about that? That's sinister, right? No, everybody's talking.
Well, you see, that's why you use different public keys every time you move. Every time you move your Bitcoin to your cold storage, and that way you don't have a red flag that you moved a large chunk of coins into a particular wallet.
Listen to Granny. Granny sound like a veteran, don't she?
Hey, she been in the game a while. You hear?
But here's the other thing, you guys. Could you all imagine a world where instead of you moving the coins, let's say you have $100,000 worth of Bitcoin in a wallet, and you want to buy a flat or something. It ain't enough. Let's say $1.2 million of Bitcoin in the wallet, and you want to buy a flat on the beach somewhere. You finally want to say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and cash some of this in. Do you all see a world where someone may take that, instead of selling the Bitcoin, they may just turn over the wallet to somebody else? Do you see people doing that? I know there's a risk involved. I can walk through the risk, but do you see people just saying, here, man, take my wallet, take the key, and I'll take the house? You ever see that happening?
For sure.
Well, I don't know.
That would be dope. That would be beyond dope.
I wouldn't trust it though.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's a high risk. That's extreme high risk right there. You have to have some paperwork. You had to do the paperwork and trust the paperwork, and then they had to do the transaction and trust the wallet. So would it be like high risk from the jump? It's kind of like paying for stuff in Bitcoin. Like let's say if you you get a hotel, some luxury hotel or whatever, and you have to pay for it in Bitcoin before you actually get it. You're going to run the risk because Bitcoin is not reversible. So you're going to run the risk anyway. So it's going to be a risk on both ends. So that's what makes it kind of crazy. You know,
That's what I was
man.
saying.
And that's the whole reason why when you buy a house or you move into an apartment, you change the locks because you don't know who else got a copy of that key. And that's the same with that Bitcoin wallet. You know what I'm saying? Like you can make a transaction and somebody give you a wallet. That don't mean that they're giving you the Bitcoin. You just got the hardware wallet or that wallet that is in.
No, wouldn't you check the wallet before you finish the transaction?
But Granny,
to make sure
absolutely.
the coins are there? And couldn't you move the coins to your wallet?
Nah. I seen scams where these people got. Don't they got scams? I seen people get scammed where they be like, "Oh, I got access to this Bitcoin wallet, but I can't send it off because I got to send them Bitcoin or something like that." But they can access the wallet to where it looks like they got money in there, but they can't send it off.
Well, let me walk it down. That's why I said it, y'all. I just wanted to, you know me, I use it as a learning thing real quick. So I'll walk it down. If you did something like that, right? The person that was accepting the house, the person that was selling the house, what they could do is that if you make the transaction, you sign the contracts over, then what you could do is you could say contingent upon me moving it from this wallet that you gave me over. But when you transfer, you're transferring just directly to them, and then they can sit there while you're chilling, after you sign the contract, and you give them an hour to confirm. So then they send that coin to their own wallet somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Instead of you being the one to do it. My question is, does that even, from a tax implication, does that even fix anything? CJ?
I don't think that would fix anything because it's still you're still buying goods or services. So at that moment, once you transfer it, it's transferred. That's from the IRS perspective.
How do they know you're not buying goods or services though? How do they know that's not his other personal wallet? Because it's just going from Bitcoin to Bitcoin. I'm just asking.
Yeah, and that's where I was about to hit that, where it's like, well, how would they know per se? It might be more difficult. But in all actuality, that is the rule, is if you are buying goods or services, the second that transaction happens, it is a taxable event. As of right now, a lot of their technology is antiquated. Like it's not ready to capture that. But I do feel like if they know that you are buying, things that are more than $10,000, every transaction that you do make that they track that's more than 10,000, that gets reported to the IRS. So if you aren't reporting that on your taxes, chances are, if you have a transaction that's more than 10,000, they're going to wind up looking at you. So if you didn't do that, you'd want to break it down under 10,000, more than that. But I wouldn't chance, trying to avoid the tax or trying to evade the taxes by thinking that they can't capture it. Not saying that it would be easy for them to do it, because it'd probably be very difficult for them to do it, especially right now. But they have an infinite amount of time to come back for tax evasion or fraud.
Right. Man, see, I just wanted to get that. I wanted to get that all the way out, because here's the thing, man. Like, one thing you have to remember, everybody has to remember out there in Facebook and YouTube land, is that this stuff is on chain. Like, that's the part. It's on chain. It's on chain forever. It's immutable. So all your Bitcoin transactions are on chain. And like I always say, somebody gonna snitch. Like, nobody can do anything without somebody snitching in this world. People snitching in your hood right now. All these people say don't snitch. There are people snitching right now on somebody right now in your neighborhood. So I'm telling you,
somebody in the audience.
Yeah, somebody in the audience snitching right now. Somebody probably snitching on us, saying they up here saying that you can't move. You shouldn't. So always remember, like, don't trust nobody to think they are loyal to you or anything like that. Just do the right thing. Like CJ always says, do the right thing. There's going to be enough money for you in the future. Your purchasing power is going to increase, we believe, just based on the fact that you have Bitcoin. So just do the right thing and don't try to evade and do all of these crazy things that I say on this line, so we can walk through this process, man. Do the right thing. But Granny's cold-blooded. Y'all heard her. She said, make sure every time you get paid to a different address every time. So yeah, so you guys, it's the second half of the show, and so this is the Genesis block We are going to start bringing some people on stage. If you have questions, raise your hand. Anybody on Facebook, YouTube, make sure you raise your hand. Remember, we are still doing the Satoshi Millionaire Challenge. If you go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com and sign up, you'll be on the list. Now listen, don't hit me every 5 minutes saying where your Bitcoin at, because number one, it's not a whole lot, so you're gonna mess around and be disappointed thinking we giving you a whole lot of Bitcoin. Number one. Number two, it's gonna come from somebody who's not me, so don't think when you get it that, man, I got this, I don't even know who this is, and send it back, because a lot of people have been doing that as well. All we're trying to do is get you started in Bitcoin, give you a little bit of Bitcoin. It's not like we over here throwing away, hundreds of millions of dollars in Bitcoin right now to the people, because we don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to give to you. I don't own any Bitcoin at all. And the people on stage, do y'all own Bitcoin?
Nope. Not at all.
Nope. None at all.
Yeah, we're not making it rain over here, bro.
Patting the pockets.
Right. But what we are trying to do is get you introduced so that you can start making these decisions for yourself. Because the first key to being self-sovereign is not to be dependent on anyone else, man. So make sure that you go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com, sign up for the Satoshi Millionaire Challenge, and I'm gonna get your name to an ambassador as soon as we possibly can. We're trying to aggregate right now. Our ambassadors are waiting. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. So shout out to the ambassadors for being patient as well. Everybody, thank you for your patience. Thank you for everything you're doing. And remember, right, that this is about us becoming Satoshi millionaires and getting 1 million Satoshis. 1 million Satoshis means you have 0.01 Bitcoin. And right now that is about $608. So without me having to go on any further in that path, Miss Naja, are you there?
Yes, sir. Ready to go.
So Miss Naja gonna run the second half of us. This is not even Miss Naja. We call her Queen Naja around here. The beautiful Miss Queen Naja of Crypto Blockchain Plug. Miss Naja, before you go on, could you talk to us a little bit about what you're working on right now?
Absolutely, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. I just want to say, first of all, thank you to the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, because if it had not been for the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, I would not have be announcing this today, probably. Officially today, I am partnering with Hill Harper to actually launch the first Black digital wallet. Inside of this digital wallet, you're going to be able to dollar cost average. That means you're going to be able to buy Bitcoin inside of this wallet. So we're super excited about it. And to celebrate this wallet in the Black Wall Street, the actual real Black Wall Street, which for those of you who do not know, this is the 100th year centennial of the actual bombing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So in order to commemorate that, we're going to take the stage, both Hill Harper and myself, in Tulsa, Oklahoma on May 31st. And because of that, we're going to be doing a tour to all the cities around the United States where our folks reside, and we are going to be giving out Bitcoin as well. And we hope to work with the Black Bitcoin Billionaires who actually made this collaboration possible. And again, we appreciate you all, and we're really excited about what this app is going to do and how it's going to revolutionize and help us keep our Black dollars in our Black community. So that's what we're setting out to do.
Thank you, Ms. Naja.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Naja. And we're going to keep it moving. We got some new people. We got people on the stage now. I think it's starting with Sean. Miss Naja, I'm doing your job. Go ahead, Miss Naja.
All right. It looks like we have Demoy that's up first.
Hey, how y'all doing?
You missed Sean. You missed Sean.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, my bad. Y'all gave Sean the green bean. My bad. Man, what happened? Did y'all kick Sean off? What happened? Sean had Miss Naja. Sean had a green bean on accident.
Oh no, I didn't kick him off. I'm driving, so I'm only doing the mute on and off. So
he must have got a call because he's back now.
Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? How y'all doing today?
Doing well.
I am the Sean you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just listening in. I didn't have a question. I'm always in here getting all the information I can get. I appreciate it. Just having the opportunity to soak it all up.
Oh,
All right. Well,
never
welcome,
mind.
welcome. We appreciate you. So we're gonna go back to Des Moines. Des Moines, welcome to the call.
Thank you. Good morning. And I just had a comment about the first segment earlier that I wanted to point out. I think Lamar kind of covered it in his summary, but just so you know, like when you transfer in property that's that valuable, there's still going to be like some city record. So like if it's a house or whatever, the title has to be transferred, or car or whatever. And you got to put on there like if you're selling it and how much you're selling it for to the other person, and that will also get reported. So all the ideas that we were theoretically saying wouldn't even work with just giving someone your wallet anyways, because there's so many record of that transaction, different places that has to be documented of it, possession, changing owners.
All right. Well, thank you for that insight. Thank you for that insight. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I think somebody put him down. I think I guess after his statement, looks like somebody put him down, Ms. Naja.
All right. Well, then next, back to you on Facebook.
Okay. Jacqueline Tejada says, what is your opinion on buying the Exodus IPO?
I'd say buy Bitcoin, but that's just me. And this is not investment advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Just buy them Toshis, man. Buy the Toshi.
So that's two people right there. They just basically said buy the Toshi, Miss Jacqueline. It's not investment advice. It is for entertainment purposes only. So that's their.
My advice is buy some crab legs.
Now that is investment.
He's lying.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Naj. Just back to you, sister.
All right, next to the stage we have Harlan. Harlan, welcome to the stage.
Good morning, everybody. Two things. One, Ms. Naja, when you do the tour, you come to Philly, and also my town alongside, I don't mind helping out with what you need. I definitely want to be a part of what you're doing because I appreciate everything that you're doing. So that's one. And the other part is Granny Crypto was talking about different being paid to different wallets when you're moving your money. How do you go about doing that? Because I know Josh alluded to that before about using them like invoice numbers, so you keep changing your wallet address. Can you guys walk through that process?
So I'll take number one real quick. You can go to thebblackwallstreet.com, thebblackwallstreet.com, and you can actually see the cities that we're going to be coming to and the actual dates and times. The venues will be listed later on this week, and that's for my part. And Granny Crypto, you want to explain that that philosophy you got going?
Well, if you look in your wallet, I was quickly trying to go over to Cash App to see if I can find it. So keep him on stage, Naja, as I go look for it, and I will come back to him.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Lamar, we're going back to Facebook.
Let's see. Excuse me, Lord. Says, how can we get paid in Bitcoin for an Airbnb rental?
I'll take that one because I do an Airbnb and accept Bitcoin all the time. So you just have a wallet, whatever wallet you want it to go to. Could be a warm wallet, which is what I call Exodus. You have your Exodus or you have your Edge. I use Edge. So I have an Edge wallet and I named it Airbnb rental. And when people pay me there, I just send them the QR code for that particular wallet, and that's where the rent goes for the Airbnb.
Back to you, Ms. Naja.
All right. So next to the stage, we have Daryl. I got it right this time, Daryl.
Thank you so much, Ms. Naja. Greetings, everyone. Hopefully you all can hear me well. I'm inside of a a medical office, and the reception may be bad. Most of my questions have been family based, because that's what my wife and I are kind of intending with this. And I think I've heard this asked, but just want to ask it myself. If we are buying Satoshis, should there be any division between, my wife's name, my name, and our kids' names, or just kind of keep it under one family umbrella? Any recommendations on that?
Are you talking about from a tax perspective or execution perspective?
I guess both, and I really hadn't even thought about the tax implications of it yet. We just got in the past couple of weeks or so, but just I'm open ears to all aspects of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
here's the question, Daryl. Do you trust your wife?
Yes, sir. So far, 9 years in, we share everything so far.
But the reason why, and before he goes into a more succinct answer, I just want to say from that level is where you have to come from, brother, because this is a wealth thing, right? And if you're not really good with your wife and your kids, then you probably want to separate and isolate this stuff out. So, if you think in the future she's going to try to leave you or something, you want to lose it in a boating accident so they don't come after it with a divorce attorney. No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding, but it is a personal it is a personal thing, Daryl. That's all I was gonna say. Like, however you feel, it's probably gonna come down to your own relationships. But I'll let my man CJ take it from a tax perspective.
Yeah, so I think Lamar is hitting on the execution side, where if you don't own, you don't own your keys, you don't own your cheese. That's what Isaiah says. So from a tax perspective side, when you buy Bitcoin or buy cryptocurrency, that's not a taxable event. If you sell it or you trade it, that is. And so if you are married, the combination of whatever you sell is going to be in combination with your wife. However, you can, create like LLC and pay your kids in certain things, and that can be a write-off from a tax perspective, because then they become employees, and as long as they're under that $12,000 mark, on an individual basis, and they don't have any other income, then that's a good way to avoid paying taxes. Hopefully that answers your question. Typically, I tell people to keep their short-term investments in one LLC, their long-term investments in another LLC, their business in a different LLC, and then their personal completely separate. Hopefully that answers the question. Yeah.
Put your kids on the payroll.
Absolutely, very, very helpful, brothers. I appreciate that much.
No problem.
All right, so Lamar, back to you on Facebook.
Facebook and YouTube. All they said was, "Do you trust your wife?" That's all I see right now. So yeah, back to you, Miss Naja.
Naja, I'm ready for the gentleman who asked the question.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Granny, go ahead.
Okay, what was his name?
Harlan. I believe that was Harlan.
Okay, Harlan, I found out that with Cash App, you cannot change your receive address. However, the other way I move coins around is through the Edge wallet. And with Edge, every time you receive cryptocurrency, you automatically get a different address.
It also does it on Cash App, Miss.
Does it?
Yeah, Granny Crypto. Yes, ma'am. If you hit deposit, it keeps changing it because it uses hierarchical deterministic wallets as well. So
because I went there and I didn't see it, so what I did, I Googled it, and it said at this time they didn't have that feature.
It just does it automatically because sometimes I have to get people to send in Bitcoin to the Cash App for our little fund that we giving away Bitcoin for, and
right.
And every time I've sent it, it's a new one.
Okay. So there you go, Harlan.
Thank you, Granny.
You're welcome.
That actually, I think that needs to be pointed out some more, because I think people, if they're receiving it, they might just copy and paste the same public wallet every time that they receive something. Could that potentially bring some issues? If I understand that correctly.
So here's the thing. So let me break down the hierarchical deterministic wallet. So what it basically does is allow you to have one seed phrase to create the rest of your wallets. And it's pretty smart to not use the same wallet address every time you get paid, because what happens is that, let's say Granny pays me. Then when she pays me, she has my public wallet address. So all Granny has to do, if I keep using that same one, is just watch my wallet, and she can see how much wealth I have. You see what I'm saying? If I just use that one address, because it's always on chain, Granny could be checking it every week, like, oh, somebody else gave him some money. Oh, look at that. You know what I'm saying? And so people, that basically messes up your privacy if you keep using the same wallet address over and over and over again. Well, what these hierarchical deterministic wallets allow you to do is you have that seed, but it'll continue to make them based on what's called a derivation path, or it derives a new wallet. A derivation path creates new wallet addresses, but you can use the same key or the same seed to actually be able to use that wallet. So some people get scared because they're like, well, they paid to the same one that they gave them the first time. Well, that's fine. You still have control over it. You see what I'm saying? So if you keep copy and pasting this first one, the first one you get, that's fine. You'll just get a lot of coins to that wallet, and people can just watch it. People, your friends and your family will know how much coin you got. But if you use a hierarchical deterministic and keep giving a new one every time you get paid, yeah, your total balance will show that you have all of these Bitcoin, but to the everyday outside user, they'll go look at the chain and only see the little bit that you got per each one of those addresses. Do you get that? Did everybody understand that?
Yeah, I learn something new every day. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you. All right. So next to the stage, were we going back to you, Lamar?
Yes, ma'am. I got somebody now. Miss Page says, what does it mean to trade Bitcoin? Because a lot of people are always in my DMs asking about mining and trading. Thanks.
Run.
Yeah.
You should block them, yeah.
Miss Page.
Yeah, block them.
Scam.
Miss Page, they said block them and run, because ain't nobody trying to help you that much. Where they hunt you down telling you, hey, come mine with us. Like, just run. Okay.
Yeah, if it's about mining, definitely run the other way. Or, join us, the Black Bitcoin Billionaires, on our mining class at 8. So you could, or is it 9 a.m. tomorrow? So you get an idea.
8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
8 to 10 a.m. on Tuesdays.
8 to 10 then, right? So join us for that if you're interested in mining. As far as trading is concerned, right? As far as trading is concerned, if it's somebody talking about they're going to trade for you, definitely run. Now, if you want to learn the skill to actually trade Bitcoin, that's something different, right? Make sure you seek out, somebody that does it, a professional, somebody that's had some success. And if you want to learn that skill, that's something totally different. Now, me, of course, I don't trade my Bitcoin, right? However, I do trade in the markets that trade Bitcoin, right? So there's ways to do that without actually trading your physical Bitcoin. So, be aware.
But I think for the most part, these scammers tend to go. So if you want to go to trade, you go to somebody that you know to get help. Don't accept all these random DMs from these people with these fake profiles, trying to get you involved. Yeah.
And none of us are going to hit you up about mining or trading either. We will not be sliding in your DMs for any of that. We don't need any of your cryptocurrency, any of your Bitcoin. So even if the profile looks like one of us, it's not one of us.
Yes, please don't send anybody any money. Even if we're saying, hey, send us some Bitcoin, we'll flip it and send it back to you 10 times tomorrow. Whatever they're saying, don't believe it. It's not us. And make sure you always double check the profile just to make sure you're talking to us. And if you feel like you're not, ask us the video. I video chat with people every day. So if they can't video chat with you, it is definitely not me or any of the people up here. So please don't get scammed.
Exactly. Each person I reached out to on that's reached out to me on Clubhouse, we always video chat first before anything. So definitely listen to the mods, and if Lamar sends you a request asking for Bitcoin, don't do it.
Right. Me, Zay, the scammers are out in full force right now because it's a bull market. So They just using our names and then make a million things, make a million accounts. So yeah, just stay
And
away from it.
folks, this is so important that we've actually set up some rooms. I don't remember if it's on Tuesdays or Thursdays at 6 p.m. But we've actually set up rooms because we see that this is happening more often. Does anyone want to share the information about when that room is run? I think it's Black Regal that runs the room.
Yeah.
He was on this morning. I want to say it's 6 o'clock on Tuesdays and 6 o'clock on Thursdays, Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, and if you want to see the schedule, go to blackbitcoinbillionaire.com and you can find the Black Bitcoin Billionaire weekly schedule. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see the scam room might not be on there yet because it just started. But yeah, there's a room to teach you about watching out for scams and how to watch for all types of ways that people are trying to get your Bitcoin. So we have all kinds of education here on the Black Bitcoin Billionaire. Yep, she said, the page just came back and said, yes, they are saying they can flip my money. So yeah, please run. Block them and report them. So is it back to me again, Miss Naja?
I believe that one was yours, the scam.
Oh, yep. Yeah, it's back to you then.
So we are, well, thank you. On our stage, we have either a French or a Creole young lady by the name of Shiberte Jean-Baptiste. So please welcome to the stage.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for having me and for letting me be a guest speaker to talk. I just wanted to ask a few questions. I'm really new and still learning about this. Hearing you guys, it's awesome hearing you guys talk and informing other people who are new or who do not know and who want to learn and be knowledgeable about this. So, well, you guys are doing an awesome job. I just wanted to know if someone wants to join in the Bitcoin market. Let's say you want to start with $1,000. Is there a minimum? Is there a maximum? And please inform us. And if, let's say, the minimum were to be $1,000, for example, how much is that supposed to be within a week? When can you do your withdrawals? When can you do deposits? And how do you guys teach us to start doing it on our own?
Miss Naja, you fading out.
You're going in and out. But Miss, how do we say your name? Shiberte?
It's French. It's Schubert, but I tell people to just call me Schubert because you don't mess my name up. So Schubert is fine. Or Shuby.
Shuby. Okay. If you are in the U.S., you can go onto an app called Cash App. Cash App allows you to buy even as little as $1 worth of cryptocurrency, worth of Bitcoin. Around $1 will get you about 1,000. Actually, it'll get you now about 2,000 Satoshis. I think I sent 1,000 out. It was 60 cents. So you can buy as little as $1. If you were starting with $1,000, you can do that as well. If you are in the U.S., that Cash App is going to allow you to do that right there. If you're outside of the U.S., you might want to try the website Binance, and you can certainly go in with $150, $50, $100, or even $1,000. If you were wanting to make a larger purchase of some Bitcoin, I would suggest that you go directly to a person that you can talk to. Miss Naja, who's also on the stage now, she does have an over-the-counter that you can go through her. And if you click on her profile and then view full profile, there's a text message number there that you can reach her at. In the way that you would come out or cash out of your Bitcoin, you would just simply, the same way that you bought it, you'd sell it the same way. And that would be selling the cryptocurrency for your US dollars.
Miss Shuby.
Yes.
Miss Shuby, do you have Cash App right now?
Yes, I do.
Well, Miss Shuby, this is what I'm going to do. Tell me what your cash tag is, and I'm going to send you some Bitcoin because you said you don't have it. You're trying to figure out how to get going, and I'm going to get you going. All right?
Yeah, I actually, I sent you a friend request, so I guess we can. Wait, was it Lamar who spoke to me? I'm not sure.
Yeah, but
It
that's
was Lamar.
yeah. I mean, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm giving it to you right now because that anywhere you sending me like a DM is probably backed all the way up. So while I'm on stage with you, do you have your Cash App in your profile? Yep, you do. So I'm about to send you $10 on behalf of the Black Bitcoin Billionaires to get you started. Is that all right?
I'll have to talk to you. It's separate.
Oh, you can't get Bitcoin?
Uh, that's a long story.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Well, back to our regular scheduled program, Miss Shuby. Because I'm like, I never knew nobody could get Bitcoin, if they could get it or not. So
it's free. You know, he's giving this to you for free, Miss Shuby, right? You understand that, right?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
It's
okay.
It's something else. Listen. We ain't gonna get into a business, Miss Shuby. Right now that I'm talking to you right now, go on to go to Twitter. If you got Twitter, use Twitter and inbox me right now, because it'll bring you to the top, and I don't have to worry about everybody jumping on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So use my Twitter, DM me right now, and then we can talk when I get off at 1. Okay?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
You are very welcome. And then shout out to everybody. Hold on. Everybody that's out there that actually has tweeted with the hashtag BBB Genesis block. I'm looking through it, and it looks like only one person took advantage of the Genesis block tweet today. So that person's about to get 50,000 Satoshis. His name is IMRS3 Gaming. See, I didn't say it this time because I wanted the people on Facebook and YouTube to get an opportunity to win. So this gentleman from Facebook tweeted out hashtag BBB Genesis block, which was awesome. And so I'm going to try to get him some coins. So be on the lookout, man. I'm asking you right now, what is your cash tag? And I'm going to send him over 50,000 Satoshis, man. So shout out to IMRS3 Gaming. And hopefully, look, everybody now on Facebook, they putting BBB Genesis block. You got to do it on Twitter. So, but thank you guys. And back to, because we just answered Shuby's, back to me, huh? What is a Satoshi? I am new to cryptocurrency. I'll answer that directly. So that's Miss Naomi. A Satoshi is the smallest unit of a Bitcoin. There are 100 million Satoshis in every Bitcoin. So if you look at it like a dollar, you have a penny, right? So a penny is the smallest unit of our smallest denomination of a dollar. So a Satoshi is like a penny, but there are 100 million. Instead of just 100, there are 100 million Satoshis in a Bitcoin. So this gentleman just won 50,000 Satoshis, which gets him on his way toward the goal of at least becoming a Satoshi millionaire, to have 1 million Satoshis. So hopefully that helped you, Miss Naomi.
Thank you, sir. So next to the stage, we have Major Dream. I like that name, Major. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Again, I've been in this space now about 5 years. I live in Puerto Rico at that. And we have a lot of crypto folk down here because tax purposes and such. But as this, space is growing, it's really exciting for me to see, more black faces and hear black faces about it because, over the last 5 years, I've been in this space. It's mostly, tech people that aren't like us. And yeah, you get a couple, but to actually see like a group of people actually getting and educated, and a space where questions can be asked and not made to feel, less than or using words that make people feel, uneducated. So, so I'm new to this group. I think I stumbled on you guys yesterday, and it's just great. I want to see more black people, more black faces, more people like me, in this, because this is really the wave. This is really the future. And And there's people that are getting so wealthy around all of us who have no clue about what's going on. And so just to be able to just be here and just hearing the conversation go back and forth, and it not be, you know, the typical kind of voices, you know, I hear that are normally in tech or normally in these crypto conversations. And so I just wanted to acknowledge, you know, everyone, and I don't know how long this group has been started, but it's I'm happy that I found it. You know, I'm happy that I found it, and hopefully, you know, I've already learned, you know, some things, but you know, hopefully that you know, I could be a part of some of these conversations and offer some of my advice and you know, just overstanding of the space. So I just want to acknowledge everyone in the room and just say thank you.
Oh man, you welcome, brother. I appreciated that.
Absolutely. We are so super excited to have you. And brother, now you know why we love this space. It is so refreshing to be amongst friends, to be amongst family, and we have made the Black Bitcoin Billionaires a family, and we hope to come visit you in Puerto Rico as well. You just make sure you have that Airbnb ready for us so we can
come on down. Come on down.
So we can pay you in Bitcoin.
Oh, no, of course, no doubt. I mean, like, I know this is a Bitcoin conversation, but I'm definitely someone that has been, I mean, and I could probably talk about all of these things. You know, I've been scammed, you know, for Bitcoin, thinking it was one of my good friends, like somebody I actually knew. You know, so please, this is not just about people getting wealthy or walking into the new future. It's really a whole new mindset. There are no more banks. You are your own bank. So you have to guard your money. You have to guard your private keys. You have to now look at things a little bit differently. So there's a whole different kind of behavior pattern that has to be learned to be involved in cryptocurrency, period. You know, Bitcoin, yes, Bitcoin's at $60,000 now. I'm super excited. But now, depending on when you got your Bitcoin, it's a real ridiculous cash, you know, taxable event. So there's a lot of like strategy that has to kind of be learned now. And, you know, it's not just, you know, the hype of getting rich or whatnot, but it's actually focusing on how you really manage your money and how you really have to be mindful about how you spend your money and what you're actually doing, you know, budgets and so forth. So, you know, I definitely found me having more financial conversations with people, more than just the idea of investment. The sister from with the beautiful name from Paris was mentioning, like, you know, how do I invest and how do I get it out, or what's the quick return? And, you know, I just want to tell, you know, folks, just like I tell people down here, you know, Bitcoin isn't a quick investment. You know, most of what you see is the FOMO from people. You know, Bitcoin is someplace where you store your money. Like, you create a business, get paid in Bitcoin, store it, you know, and stack it. Like, that's a great way to kind of get Bitcoin, because this is a whole different way of finance. It's a whole different way of living. You know, 1 million Satoshis equal 1 Bitcoin, right? Or 100 million Satoshis equal 1 Bitcoin. And it's a whole different way of really kind of like looking at the world. But in the same breath, I believe it's probably one of the biggest freedom strategies that anybody from the hood or anybody that has been on the outside could possibly have. And that's cryptocurrency, whether it be Bitcoin or it be NFTs or it be some other kind of, you know, cryptocurrency or blockchain strategy. But this right here is the wave. And, you know, we need more of us on these groups, and we need more groups like this. So thank you guys again. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Miss Naja. I got
Yes.
hold on, I got something I gotta say. Hold on.
Schubert m'envoie un message sur Twitter.
Schubert,
right.
Schubert m'envoie un message sur Twitter.
Was that Siri?
Schubert m'envoie un message sur Twitter.
Message me on Twitter.
Your French
No,
need work,
boy.
Lamar.
You guys are just so diversified. Just so diversified. All right. Well, we are going to go back to you on Facebook and YouTube. So back to you, Lamar.
All right. And I'm ready. Now everybody's hashtagging Genesis block. So I don't even see a question except people hashtagging it. I've already given out the 50,000 today. I didn't really announce it. I just put it at the bottom of the screen. So if you were looking at your screen, you would have saw it. But we'll be doing this every Genesis block. So every Genesis block, I'm gonna try to give away about 50,000 Satoshis to the people that are asking questions on Twitter, because I know some of you guys really can't get in to ask your questions. So if you go ahead and hashtag that out on Twitter, we can get to your questions and have you do it. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have any more questions, so it's back to you. It is back to you for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So now to the stage cap. Oh, was somebody?
Yeah, I've got a quick question, if possible.
Hold on
This
one
is Retta.
second, Retta. Hold on one second. We actually on the Genesis block, we go in order. So if you can just hold on one second, we have a couple people ahead of you, but we promise to get your question answered. So if you
All
can
right.
hold on. Next to
Sorry
the
about
stage.
that.
No, it's no worries. Juliet.
Good morning. I just had a question I've been seeing off and on for a minute about the ID coin and investing in that and not investing and all of this thing. Can the panel speak to that, please?
So here's the question. Where did you get the information to invest in this coin?
It wasn't, well, I subscribed to Stansberry Research, and so they constantly send out pieces of information about investment, and I know most of their investment is about just making money off of trading the stocks. That's primarily one of the sources, and then just other news feeds that come into my my phone is where I'm hearing about that. So I just saw something this morning, and I just thought I'd ask about it on this platform.
So here's the thing. So the reason why I always ask where you getting the information, because a lot of times the information doesn't come with a why. Most of the time people say you should go get this one, the price is going up, and that's their why, that the price is going up. A lot of times, especially in the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin space, but then cryptocurrencies in general, the problem is that a lot of times people don't understand what they're investing in. And all they know is that the price goes up. And so it makes it very difficult for you to make a decision whether you should put your money into one or the other. And that's why we always tell people, the only should we tell people up here that you should do is you should research and get your own education up about whatever it is anyone's telling you to invest in. And, yeah, so part of that is why you're here. That's probably why you're asking that question. A lot of these coins that are out here, yes, right now it's what we call a bull market. So a lot of these coins are having upward pressure on their price. The issue is that makes them very difficult to decipher from the Bitcoin and everything else, because you're just looking at the green go up. So what I want to say is to you, sister, is that this coin that you just said, first of all, I don't think I've ever heard of it. You said it was, say the name again.
It's called the ID coin, and when I first became aware of it, I did do some research, and apparently the reason why at least Stansberry Research was talking about it is because it's a way for the governments to get into the crypto space. And if I remember correctly, it's been a minute since I looked at researching it. It was about governments issuing a coin that identifies you. There's actually a country that they run on that. It's like they put everything on this alternative coin, if you will, like your ID, your social security number, your passport information, so that you can do all of your transactions based on that. And the reason why they were saying that's something you should be aware of is because that would be the way then the governments can take advantage of this platform and make some money and at least control that aspect of it.
So let me just break this down really quick as fast as I can in a Genesis block. So when you start thinking about putting identity on blockchains, that's what you're talking about. I don't really believe there's much money to be had, because really that you're just using the blockchain as a standard database. There's no economics between putting identification on a blockchain. Like there's, unless you pay people to actually get access to it, then that's something different. But in that regard, if you're trusting the people that are putting the stuff on the blockchain, then there's no reason to even have the blockchain, because now why not just trust them to put it in a database that is a whole lot more efficient, a lot faster, and a lot easier to program. So a lot of this stuff that these coins come up with, they try to make it sound good on the surface, but the truth and the technicals behind it don't really make a lot of sense. And that's the reason why when I looked up ID coin, the last article I saw on it was 2014. You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
yeah,
it's like, are they trying to bring it back? You get what I'm saying? Like who's talking about it now? And usually when that happens, when there's this huge gap of information from one time to the other, what they're really doing is telling you that they bought a whole lot of them back in the day and it didn't do anything. And now that there's a bull market, I'm going to tell you about it so that I can dump all of this stuff I've been holding on to on your head. And that's really what's going on. That's why I always ask people, where are you getting your information? Who's telling you this? Because that's going to keep happening to a bull market. And like my man said earlier, FOMO is not a strategy. Fear of missing out is not a strategy. So I would just run, to be honest with you. I would just run. But just what it's on you, what you want to do. I'm just saying in my predicament and from my standpoint, me looking up this coin and seeing there hasn't been much on it, nobody's talking about it, period. It's not Bitcoin. So I would just run. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wasn't looking at investing in it. I was just curious as to if you guys were familiar with it, and I have to find my notes because there is some country, it's close to Russia, that apparently that whole city or that whole municipality uses this ID coin. And I was shocked that it actually did, but I looked it up. So I have to find it again. But like I said, it just popped up this morning in some news feed that I get on my phone. So I was just curious. Thank you, though.
I got a quick question. If that country had wrote an article and said they used a new database to track their citizens, would you be interested?
Well, when I read it, I read it because I was like, oh, that's weird. And then the second thought was like, I would never live there or any place that wanted to track everything on a chip about me. But that's just my mentality. I was curious as to, are you for real? There is some country that does it. And then I was like, oh, it's a small little community and it's not too far from the Russian border. And I said, oh, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense now. So that's just the way that I thought about it. I just raised it as a curious question to see if you guys were familiar with it and what your thoughts were around it.
Is the country Estonia?
Thank you.
Someone said, is it Estonia?
I think so. I have to look.
Yeah, I mean it would, and you know, just to piggyback, just one little thing. Okay, so there's a lot of different technology running around, and a lot of different ways to monetize. And currently, we realize that there's many digital companies that monetize our information, and who make money off of our information. So the idea of the ID coin, totally understand that because people have been talking about that quite a bit. There's newer kind of versions that actually allow the people to be able to use their data as actual currency. So there are tokens that are kind of associated with that because, all right, if you're a 50-year-old man looking like you're 30, right? Looking like you're 30, feeling like you're 30, doing the things that you do at 30. Those data points are very important to medical science. So they would want to trace your data points and see, okay, this is what we have to do, or this is how we have to live to continue this kind of lifestyle. So not to kind of veer the topic off, but just to let you know, it's not a full scam. I mean, identification, the idea that you are a special person, these have intrinsic value.
But major. Major, I'm gonna cut you off just real quick
Yeah,
because
sorry.
all of that stuff you're saying can be done on a database. And it's not that the coin is you're not gonna add any value just because it has intrinsic value. Your identity may have intrinsic value. It's not. There's no value in that at all, for real, man. Like, it could just be done on the database because it's more technical than that. It's like, if you're trusting the person that's putting the information into the blockchain, then you might as well just trust the person to put the information in and hold the actual database at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So it goes deeper than just talking about the intrinsic value of an identification. And a lot of these blockchains are made to do things that at the end of the day, like, it's not really, it doesn't add any value to you as an end user. Like I just asked her, if IDs were put on a database, would it be any value to her? And she was like, probably not. Like, no, right? It's like, I thought it was kind of weird. And that's the thing. Like, it's no difference. We got to remember that, in the standpoint of a lot of these blockchains, they're just a tool. The solution is the actual solution that is built on top of the tool, but the tool just helps the solution happen. And a lot of times that doesn't add any economic value to whatever it is you're doing.
I definitely hear that, and I'd love to talk this conversation off chain, because I definitely would love to talk with you a little bit further on that. But
we do that all the time, man. Because I've been in the game for a long time and talking to people about all of these solutions. And I definitely would love to talk to you as well. It's no slight to you. Plus, this is the Genesis block, so we try to hurry up the questions. Because I think right now I'm almost done over on Facebook. But yeah, so that's all, man. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that yeah, we could talk about what value people think are in these things, but when it comes down to the actual coinomics of an actual, like, cryptocurrency, we have to think about them in a different way, and a lot of times that's a technical way. So, and that's all I was saying.
No worries. Oh, no. I appreciate that 100%.
Yeah, and obviously also the quantum leap that Microsoft and Google have ahead of everyone, right? Like Google didn't buy Fitbit because they like wearables. They bought it because they have your data. If you actually look into it, Google owns the data to pretty much most of every hospital record in America. A lot of people don't know that. But, you know, these quantum leaps have already been made by Microsoft, Google. Facebook is like a third party, but those two are dominating everything. And there's no chance anyone even has. And if they did have a chance, they get bought out in 2 days for their progress, and their division will get shut down. They're not giving up this position to anyone, right? They control this business.
All right. Well, Lamar, if you don't have anybody to bring up, we have Elon. Welcome, Elon.
Thank you. I just have 3 questions. So I guess the first question is to address to is it CJ? And just wanted to know, can you expand on, like, when you talk about setting up an LLC? I'm trying to get an idea of, is this like if you have a business and you want to accept Bitcoins, or if you're just in this space of trading and you can set up an LLC to write off gains and losses?
I think CJ has left the building.
Okay.
Maybe I'm incorrect.
Okay. So does anybody else have any, thoughts on when you talk about setting up an LLC? So, is it to use for other purposes in terms of just if you're trading in the market?
What I would do is seek a financial advisor and a CPA, but you don't need an LLC to write off like a capital loss. But first you have to take a capital gain. So in 2017, I took capital gains, but then I took a capital loss in 2018. But first you have to have a capital gain before you can have a capital loss. Now, LLC, I had a few of them, and I just opened up one. It only took like a week for some business. But I would, because this is not the right platform to give you financial advice, and nobody here wants to. We're not, tax professionals and stuff for, CJ. So I suggest you contact him, and also a financial advisor. I think that would be the best bet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
Right.
I can do that.
Add on, like, I am a trader, but like, I have a company and I trade for the company, so I'll just say that.
Gotcha. Okay. No,
so I get a salary.
Right. Okay. Now I'm just curious. I know there's one session that I think I don't know if it was on this platform, but I think they had a Bitcoin for businesses, and I'm not, per se have a business. I've been involved in various businesses, but I didn't know if that was something to be considered. Just if you're looking to start a business and maybe accept Bitcoin as a form of payment from that avenue, that seems pretty straightforward. So okay, I'll follow with
Right.
CJ. The next
There are a lot
question.
of advantages. I was gonna say there's a lot of advantages to owning your incorporating, but yeah, you need to find that out because there's different ways to, because what you want to do is preserve your money, and there's
Right.
different ways by having a business on how to preserve it. So yeah, definitely. I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask your second question.
Then Lamar talked about this was a while back. You talked about wallets, variations, addresses. You can have different addresses so people can't see what like you're stacking your Satoshis. And so, is this technology on a particular type of wallet, or is this something that you can set up on any type of wallet?
Yeah, so usually most of the wallets that are out now are usually hierarchical deterministic, which means that they generate that seed I was talking about and then start creating keys off of that. So yeah, most of them, when you hit deposit, what'll happen is they'll give you a new address every time because they're using this. I think it's BIP 44. It's one of the BIPs, one of the Bitcoin improvement projects. So it's like BIP, one of the BIPs talks about hierarchical deterministic and then talks about what you should do with your wallet. And so a lot of these wallets adhere to that so that people are used to it. So it automatically usually happens. If it doesn't happen, then they potentially are not using hierarchical deterministic. They may be using a singular key or a singular signature wallet, which in that case you would only have one address that goes with it. Because just real quick for educational purposes, a wallet is made up of your private key. That private key creates a public key. Because what happens is you use that private key, put it into an equation, and on the other side you get the public key. So it's like kind of solving any equation like X and Y. If I give you Y, you can solve for X, that kind of thing. The great thing about private public key cryptography is if I give you X, which is the public key, you can't back it up to get back to Y. Then they use that to create an address, right? And that's what that address is that everybody's talking about. So the private key that you have gets generated. Either you have a singular key or you get a seed, which then creates a hierarchical deterministic wallet that takes that seed and creates what's called an X-priv or extended private key. That extended private key creates an extended public key, and it basically becomes the father and the mother of all the other wallets in that, all the other addresses in that wallet. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what you're really dealing with. And I hope I didn't speak too much over people's heads, but I think the more I talk about it, the more people get to understand and start learning exactly what it is I'm saying, because that's what's happening in your wallet. Your wallet is really just a very large number or private key. And then when you have the ones that most people have, they've taken that private key and extended it so that it can have children. and you can have a lot of private keys built off of that one. You get me?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't, as far as, I'm going down that path, and I think I just ordered the Ledger wallet, and then I downloaded the Edge wallet. I just haven't executed anything yet. So, do you know if those have that capability?
I know Ledger uses hierarchical deterministic. I think Trezor does. Edge, you guys, have you seen if Edge uses a hierarchical deterministic type of a wallet, Miss Naja? Does it change addresses on every deposit?
I know it does on receiving, so I'm sure it would on deposit as well.
That's what I mean, on receiving, on deposit. So yep, Elon, it does. It's real easy to tell because all you gotta do is hit deposit once and then send something to it, send a little bit to it, and then come back and hit deposit again. And if it changes, then that's what it's doing, which most of them, like I said, nowadays do.
Right. Okay. All right. Thanks. And then the last question, I haven't heard anyone talk about tracking. Does anyone, are you familiar with like tracking, like coin tracking? gains and losses? Like, do the ledger have those features or something that tracks? Like,
Sure does.
Does it? Okay. And you can just report. You can just download it into some format for reporting purposes.
Yeah, the Ledger Live app has it. It's built in.
The Ledger Live app. So that's something I would need to download when I'm getting a ledger. Does that come with it, or is it something I just need to download as an app on my?
Yeah, you would download it from their website.
Gotcha. It's called the Ledger Live.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, and you can, if you wanted to, you can install it on your iPhone as well. If you've bought the Ledger Nano X.
Yeah, you have to have the Nano X. Yep.
Is that the X? Okay, I can't remember what I got. I got. Okay, so I think I have that. I purchased the S. Okay, and then I think that was it for me. I appreciate everybody's time. Thanks for answering all the questions.
We appreciate you too. Thank you. If somebody else has something to add, I'm sorry.
No, but
all right. If not, we're gonna move to. Oh, you have something on? Oh, it is time.
Yeah,
for the Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. It's time for Facebook. And the last question that I have is, who has heard about Guap Coin, founded by, I think she meant Tavanya Evans or Tavona Evans, a black woman out of Georgia. And then it says, and what can you tell us about her? Will she be a good candidate to be a speaker on this platform? Also, Akon has been a big player in creating his own coin, talking about this 2 years ago on Karen Hunter. Can you express your thoughts about what he's been doing? So Miss Tavana, I think she's been on the Genesis block before. I think we had her on here because when I was looking through it, I saw her name. So I think she's been up here one time before. She has created a coin called the Guap coin, and then Akon is building a community coin as well, but he's trying to use it for all of Africa, called the A coin. Both of them are projects that they are talking about circulating currency within their community. Guap Coin's been out for a little while now, and so has Acoin. I don't even know if it's actually out yet because I haven't seen it on. They said they were gonna build it on Stellar, so I haven't.
Yeah, actually, I think they just opened up Acoin to the U.S. just recently.
But I'm saying
I think somebody mentioned it was on Bittrex.
Oh, so
they did, but they opened it up, but it is almost impossible to get it. It was like one exchange that had it, and we've been trying to reach out to them for the past year, and
even if it's on,
we haven't gotten anywhere. So I'm not even quite. It's on CoinMarketCap. We're one exchange.
But that's what I'm saying. They were supposed to be building it on Stellar, so if it's on Stellar, we should be able to look it up on Stellar. You know what I'm saying, Miss Naja? I think she's breaking up.
Yep, and that's why I'm gonna say it was weird. It was a whole bunch of weird stuff. So I just kind of step back from it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a fraudulent one that's being traded somewhere in his name. I don't know. I just know that the last information I heard about it, that it was supposed to be on the Stellar protocol, and so I've been looking for it on there because it's on a blockchain, so I should be able to find it on that Stellar protocol, but I haven't been able to find it, so I don't know what's going on with that. And then as far as what was the question, I think I answered those two, and then I guess the last, can you express your thoughts about what he's been doing? I think it's interesting, right? For him to have a whole city, he can have his own currency. And for me, what I try to explain to people is that when you have your own currency for whatever community, city, or whatever, it's basically that currency is the manifestation of whatever the value of that city is, or that area, or that community is. So it's the manifestation of their economy. Usually GDP comes first, right? Usually whatever it can produce comes first. Nobody's going to want your currency if you don't have anything to trade for it. That is the reason why many currencies around the world are very low compared to the dollar, because the dollar has the GDP to back it up. It has the actual economy to back up the dollar. A lot of countries actually use the dollar as a peg. They might go 2-to-1 to the dollar, right? Because again, they know that the stability of that economy is what's driving the actual value of the currency. When you start talking about like Mr. Vanna, she's trying to capture the value of the African American community. And so that economy, once more and more people would use it, she is trying to capture that value into that coin. And it's, it's tough. It's rough doing that. Same thing with Akon. He's trying to do the same thing with that city, where you use this coin within that city and then also to the bigger Africa, to the rest of Africa. And again, we haven't really seen what's going on. I haven't heard a lot about it since the hype around it. I actually interviewed Akon at a Black Enterprise event and talked to him backstage a few times. And then I caught up with him again in Vegas, and it was really hot and going, but I just haven't really seen a lot of progression on the Stellar front. So I don't know what's going on with it right now. I have no clue. But hopefully that helped answer your question, sister. And with that, we are at the 2-hour mark, and I'm over a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and try to say goodbye to our wonderful friends over in Facebook and YouTube land. Thank you everyone for coming to the Genesis Block Live. Remember, next time when you're watching, go to Twitter and hashtag BBB Genesis Block and make a comment. And you might be able to win 50,000 Satoshis. For everyone else, make sure you go to the blackbitcoinbillionaire.com site right now. Sign up for the site. Come back and then go to the Satoshi Millionaire page and add your name to the list. We will get to it. Please be patient. We are trying to aggregate as much as we can so that our ambassadors can knock out those lists as soon as they come in. I know there are a ton of people waiting. So just please be patient with us. We'll be patient with you. And remember, it's not going to be life-changing Bitcoin coming into your pocket. But what it will do is help you. The life-changing part is by getting that introduction and being exposed to this new technology and this new form of wealth generation. So with that said, I'd like to say live love, love life. And until next time, Facebook, I love y'all.